Hello, I'm Professor Hans von Puppet. I can see the brainwashing. What? Oh, sorry. The learning session is going quite well. You have learned all about the opportunity we are providing, the work involved, the money you can make, the time it'll take, what we do, who we work for, and we have also revealed our true identities to you. You are now fully hypnotized into thinking these are nice people. You are going to get rich quick, and we never have to work another day in your life because you have just won the Zambekistani lottery. And what? Oh, that's the wrong script. Okay, all right. Well, that's a video I'm doing for another Craigslist ad. Wait a minute, hang on. No, that one. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now you have a basic understanding of what this is all about. The remainder of this video will dive deep into the details of the specific step-by-step process on how you will actually do this work and what will be expected of you. Even though much of what is covered is very simple, it is also very, very important. This is the only training you will receive. You must know our standards and expectations for you on your first assignment are the same as someone who's been doing this job for a year. So sit up straight, get yourself a nice venti tall half-calf, super cream, double whip, no whip, skinny espresso macchiato with an iced cup of what do you want on the side, and serve it to stick. Pay close attention, take careful notes, and enjoy. There will be a test at the end. Just kidding. I'm not kidding.
All right, thank you, Professor. So now we're going to start part 2. This is the training portion of the presentation. This is the how to do it portion. And we're going to go over the redundancy, the detail, and the importance of our checklist and the instructions. I'm going to go over the supplies that you'll need to complete all the assignments, the email that you'll receive whenever you're notified that there's an available assignment, and then we'll go through the assignments in detail, the specific tasks, the forms, the photos, best practices, the delivery, way you process everything and deliver it back to us. Then I'm going to go over the scorecard and exactly how you get paid, the invoicing methods, and the payment methodology that we use. Here we've listed a comprehensive list of all the supplies you'll ever need when you're doing assignments for us. You can stop the video, pause it, and copy everything down, take notes. I'm going to go through each one specifically, one at a time in detail, so that I can answer any questions you might have about them. All right, I've gone over this before, but it's worth repeating. So you've absolutely got to have a phone that you can receive email on. If you're using a phone without a data plan or a phone that does not accept email, then you are not going to succeed at this, and you might as well stop watching the training video because you're probably wasting your time. In completing these assignments, chances are if something is messed up, it won't be the fact that you didn't take enough pictures. You're going to be able to follow the checklist. You're going to take enough pictures, we would like to think. But a lot of times, if there's going to be a problem, it's because you walked out of your car and you left your car keys sitting inside and you locked them in, and then you can't get back in, and then it delays everything, and you run into a significant problem because of that. And so for this reason, we go out of our way to make sure you know it's a good idea to have at least 2 copies of your car keys. If I had to quantify it, I would say that your reliable transportation and your digital camera are going to be your 2 most important, most used pieces of equipment. So let's talk in detail about your digital camera. I highly recommend that you use a camera that has a wrist loop. If you don't have a wrist loop on your camera, you could probably figure out some kind of makeshift thing, but it's going to be very, very valuable for you because without it, you'll end up dropping your camera inevitably. I highly recommend lithium rechargeable batteries. If you don't use those, then you're going to be running through batteries like crazy. And the camera has to have a date stamp function. On most cameras, the date stamp icon or the date stamp setting is notated by this little icon right here. That's supposed to be a stamp. And that's where you can find, if you see that icon in your camera in the settings menu, then you know that your camera is equipped to do date stamp photos. You need to have all of the equipment that it takes for you to transfer photos from your camera to your computer. These SD cards are removable memory cards in cameras it's very common, and so your camera likely has one of those. If not, you could probably just connect a USB, some kind of data cable to your computer and transfer photos that way. If you need detailed instructions on exactly how to transfer photos from your camera to your computer, copy down the URL there at the bottom of the slide, and that'll give you the info that you need. Make sure you have plenty of pins so that if your pin goes out, you've got a backup while you're at the property. There's nothing worse than being at a property with no store around and all your pins run out of ink. Then you need a flashlight and a nice large black marker. In the summer here in Texas, we can go quite a long time between rainstorms, so the ground can get very hard and can become near impossible to install a yard sign. For this reason, we recommend that you carry a large jug of water, because we found that if you just moisten the area that you want to install the sign with a substantial amount of water, that the sign installation becomes much easier. It also helps to have some extra drinking water on hand. If the ground is so hard that even saturating the area where you're going to install the sign doesn't do the trick, you're going to be glad you had a hand shovel. So we recommend you keep a hand shovel in your car. I've visited literally hundreds of properties, maybe even thousands of properties, and in most properties haven't ever had a problem, but I'll never forget the day I was training someone at a house and we got outside only to realize we had black little specks all over our pants. They were fleas. And in this case, we didn't have any bug spray, so we drove to the nearest drugstore and took care of the problem there. But it would have helped a whole lot to have some deep woods off, and that's why we recommend carrying bug spray. On some assignments, you'll need to measure the dimensions of the rooms. I recommend an electronic measure because it's fast and accurate. I picked one up from Home Depot that looked just about like this. You could also use a 25-foot measuring tape. However, if you plan on doing several of these, that is a very inefficient way to get started. There's no need to spend a lot of money on these. A simple, cheap one at Home Depot will work just fine. You will be transferring a substantial amount of photos and documents to us over the internet. It's ideal to have a mobile hotspot. However, those can be expensive, and as long as you're budgeting your time right, it's really not necessary. But what is necessary is to have a computer with plenty of memory, with a high-speed internet connection, and Microsoft Word. You just can't do these jobs unless you have that. You're going to need a printer and a scanner for printing your checklists and some flyers. And then when you're finished, you're going to need to scan your completed checklists so that you can electronically send them to us. I can't stress this enough. There's just no way you can complete these assignments without very reliable transportation. It doesn't matter if your car breaks down, the assignment is still due. So, must have reliable transportation. We don't have a dress code, but when you're at these properties, you are our eyes and our ears and our face. So, we need for your clothes to look nice, not worn and torn or raggedy. Please don't wear anything that could have offensive words on it or anything that's just raunchy. The guy on the left is a perfect model of exactly what your attire can look like. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just nice, clean clothes. The guy on the right is obviously has different motives, and we just don't want anybody like that showing up at our property. If you're just trying this whole assignment thing out, this whole PSS thing out, no need to go out and buy all this stuff right off the bat. However, you'd probably enjoy having it anyway. But if you're going to do this on a regular basis, I would say it's absolutely imperative that you get a car cell phone charger, a charger for your lithium battery that can go in your car, some kind of hands-free cell phone device. If you can put up with a rubber band, go for it. If not, there's these Bluetooth wireless devices that work really well. This is the hotspot that I was talking about earlier. Those can be a little pricey, but it really helps to be able to upload your photos and documents very quickly after you complete an assignment. And I think having a GPS is just a great tool. You can pick them up pretty cheap at Walmart now for under $100 a lot of times, and so it'll just help make sure that you don't miss a turn and that sort of thing. Some more recommended items. Hand sanitizer. I usually use a squirt of hand sanitizer after I leave every property, even though some of these are actually pretty clean and in good condition. You just don't want to get the cooties, and that'll prevent that. I like having a good clipboard so you can have something hard to write on, and I'm a fan of bringing something for protection, whether it's a shield like this guy has, some mace, or whatever other legal means of protection you see fit. I recommend doing what it takes to protect yourself. We've never had a problem at any of these properties, but I just think it's a good idea.